Hey everybody, good night and welcome to another episode of Taking Stock Live. I'm Kalila Reynolds, welcoming you to this very special episode. It is our first IPO of the year, all the way in August. And I'm so happy to see all the people already online waiting, eager, commenting, anticipating the excitement ton up, right? Lots to talk about tonight for the One Great Studio IPO. I'm going to take some of these early comments because y'all logged on from like after 5. Like, wow, okay. So the brain said, anyone else excited? Shanil said, for sure. Who else we had? Marvin said, early bud. We had Kish, we had Philip, we had Kish saying, knock, knock, IPO alert. Michelle said, sigh of relief. Money magnets, IPO drought is over. Let it rain. Demar said, a long time now wait, but it's not a lie. I have no sense watching from far, far away. So let me know in the comments where you're joining us from and what you think. Even before we start, let us know your questions and your comments as well as we go along. Don't leave them for the last minute because I might not get to them. Early bird catches the worm. If you have a question, type it in the chat as soon as you think of that question. So let's take a look at what's coming up in tonight's show, followed by what's hot in business.
IPO alert! IPO alert! IPO alert!
Digital marketing agency One Great Studio Company is ready to go public through an initial public offer. The company is offering 338 million shares priced at $1 each. The offer is set to open on Monday, August 28. One Great Studios co-founder and CEO Djuvane Browne and co-founder and Chief Operations Officer Gina DeLisser will join us. And the analysts weigh in on the latest market developments. David Rose will give his perspective on the One Great Studio Limited IPO. And internationally, ratings agency Moody downgraded 10 U.S. banks and put the credit ratings of 6 others on review. What does this mean for U.S. markets? We'll find out. But first, here's What's Hot, brought to you by JMMB Group, your best interest at heart. More than halfway through the year, the first initial public offer of 2023 has just been announced. Digital marketing company One Great Studio is looking to raise $338 million from the local market. If the offer is successful, the company will apply to be listed on the junior market. One Great is the first company to announce an IPO this year amidst growing market volatility and economic pressures. The IPO will open on August 28 and is scheduled to close on September 18. Century 21 Hevo Properties has signed a new memorandum of understanding with Dollar Financial Services and its subsidiary Ultra Financia. Century 21 Hevo Properties is the local affiliate of international real estate company Century 21. With this new deal, Century 21 Hevo Properties becomes the exclusive real estate provider for Dollar and Ultra Financia. The company will be responsible for handling mortgage powers of sale for Dollar and Ultra's collateral properties. Cuba last week lifted a ban prohibiting U.S. cash deposits in banks. The reversal will allow Cubans to deposit U.S. dollars into their local accounts for the first time in 2 years, and comes amid worsening economic troubles in Cuba. U.S. deposits were banned by the Cuban government in 2021 because of what it called the continuing difficulties of the 60-year-old U.S. trade embargo. The government said that even though the ban has been lifted, the economic pressure from the U.S., which led to the ban in the first place, is still present, and therefore the root of the problem has not yet been solved. Former CEO of cryptocurrency exchange FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, had his bail revoked last week over allegations of witness tampering. FTX was the second largest cryptocurrency exchange before it crashed last year. Bankman-Fried has been accused of defrauding investors and illegally diverting millions of dollars worth of cryptocurrency from customers using the FTX exchange. The former CEO has been under house arrest since December. A New York federal judge revoked his bail on Friday, accusing him of trying to influence witnesses who are set to testify against him at trial. The trial is set to begin in less than 2 months. What's Hot was brought to you by JMMB Group, your best interest at heart.
My name is Trisha Gay O'Connor, and I'm an attorney at law. I attended the Real Estate Investing for Beginners course. It is a topic that has always appealed to me. I came away with a strategy as to how to invest in real estate. So I thought it was something that was definitely a goal, but a far-reaching one, but it seemed much more attainable once I attended it and heard the strategy.
And you're better off, honestly, just buying the property, holding it, and as the value goes up over time, you can access a second mortgage or a home equity loan, as they call it. You can rinse and repeat that strategy and end up with 10 houses, because all you do, you buy one. Even if it's your first house, you're living in there, you buy one house, price goes up over time. Take out a mortgage against the increase in value. Use that to buy a second house. I'll tell you guys, because you're in here, I'm going to pay up for the money. Exactly how I did it.
As simple as it seems, no, I actually never thought about it. And so for me, I have a plan. I didn't expect to come out with a plan, but I came out with a plan. So I'm extremely happy. Thank you very much, Kalila. And thank you so much, Keisha. The information was presented in a very clear, understandable way. And I am grateful. This is the start of me investing in real estate. So guys, definitely join the Money Mission. You won't regret it. Take my word.
Real Estate for Beginners is available on demand or with a premium membership to the Money Mission community. Join now at moneymission.mn.co. The link is in the description.
How you doing?
I'm successful. How are you?
I'm good.
What's funny?
You said you successful. What that mean? You got business?
Yes, I mind my business.
You probably too much to handle. You got a minute?
You got money?
Yeah, I got money. What you want?
You got cash out?
Nah, not cash.
PayPal?
What you need right now?
Venmo?
I don't really got no digital payment.
Zelle?
Nah.
Have a nice day.
Hey, bro.
This segment of Taking Stock is brought to you by Bulwark Insurance Agency, insurance made easy.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Let me see who we have in the house. Learn, Grow, Invest, giving us a wave. Shout out to you. We have Treat You all the way in Mandeville. Big up Yardy Link in Florida. Robert says the big show start. Love it. California in the house. Montego Bay in the house. London in the house. Turks and Caicos in the house. Oh, people are joining us from all over the world. We have Red Hills in the building. Clarendon checking in. Cuba checking in as well. And we also have somebody in Grand Cayman who says IPO Christmas money making. So yeah, this is a global show. Get it right. Let you know that Taking Stock is worldwide and we love to see it. So let's introduce our panel for the evening, the moment you've all been waiting for. We've got another IPO in the house, the first of the year. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you must be under a rock. You must not be following me. You must not be following Money News because it is one great studio. I know you're here for the scoop. So let's take a look at the details.
Digital marketing company One Great Studio is seeking to raise $338 million through an initial public offer. If the offer is successful, One Great will apply to be listed on the junior market of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. The company is offering 338 million shares for sale. 169 million shares will be available to the public. The other 169 million are reserved for key partners and 1GS employees. All shares are priced at $1 each, and the minimum purchase is 10,000 shares. That means you can participate in this offer for 10,000 Jamaican dollars plus fees. That's about 65 US dollars. The offer is set to open on August 28, 2023, and is scheduled to close on September 18, 2023. But with such a small offer, it could close early. Applications are being accepted through Barita Investments. Check the link in the description to apply.
Well, let us learn more about this IPO. Joining me now, we have co-founder and CEO of One Great Studio Limited, Djuvane Browne, co-founder and Chief Operations Officer of the company as well, Gina DeLisser, and Manager of Investment Banking at Barita Investments. They're managing this offer, and that's Gabrielle Spence. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Kalila. Thanks for having us.
Hi,
Welcome to Taking Stock. Excitement. Oh my gosh, how long has this been in the making, Djuvane?
Man, I mean, I think we decided to to start on this road in about, I think it was in 2021, we started to plan towards this. And from there, we really just, put our heads down. It took a lot of work to get to this point. And so, this process really for us is a 2-year process really to get to this point.
So a lot has happened between the time that you decided to, embark on this process. Coming into 2023, you saw what happened with the market, where it is now, everybody pulling back. Gina, did that make you nervous about being the first for the year to test the waters?
Nervous, no, because we definitely believe it is a strong offer, but it is something that, it could have given us pause for concern, but I definitely think Jamaica is definitely on the rebound, and we're looking forward to, and we're excited to what this offer has in store for all the participants that will be investing in One Great Studio.
Gabriel, do you think the market is ready now? This is the right time?
I definitely believe so, Kalila, and just since we have actually published this prospectus, we have seen that, the market is most definitely ready.
All right, well, let's take a look at what your company actually does. Here's a video giving us some background about One Great Studio.
One Great Studio is a digital-first agency.
We like to help businesses connect the dots seamlessly across digital platforms.
We see the whole digital space as large, and we think we're just scratching the surface regionally.
We get business. In order for you to market for a company, you have to understand their business. You have to understand their business model, and you have to understand the outcomes that they're trying to achieve. We help people leverage design and technology and connect the dots with their digital assets. We are trying to help companies get in front of the face of their target audience.
All right, so you might need to break that down a little bit more for us. And let me get Djuvane in here. When you say you're a digital-first marketing agency, what exactly does that mean?
All right, that means that we use strategy, design, and technology to drive outcomes for our clients, right? And what are these outcomes? Most of our clients come to us, they have a couple of things that they're looking for, right? They're either looking to increase their sales, right? They're looking to lower their expenses, so get more efficient in how they operate, or they're looking to influence perception, right? So how people think and feel about their brand. With growing the sales now, marketing done well, that actually creates demand, right? It generates leads for our business, and it also generates sales for the business, right? And then on the operating efficiency side, technology can be used to push your costs down, right? So at one point for IPOs, for example, you used to always have to go into a broker office with paper, and then now you don't have to do it anymore. Technology now allows you to apply online, right? So all that cost of having people in your office and dealing with that, all the staff that have to deal with that, your staff can focus on other things by using technology, right? So we use design, tech, and strategy to drive outcomes for our clients, Kalila.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, you would be the first marketing agency listed. The only somewhat comparable company I can think of is The Lab, but it's not quite the same business. They're more a production company.
Yeah, that's correct. And for us, we call ourselves digital first, right? Because the truth is that we prioritize digital, right? So what that means, we start with strategy always, right? Because every plan has to have strategy. So we're diving into brand, we're understanding the brand, we're learning about the clients. As the video said, we're learning about the business model. We're big on learning. And so that's something that we're always doing. And really for us, our differentiator is we get business. Like we understand business, we understand business models, we understand what drives companies, how companies survive, how companies thrive. That's something that we really pride ourselves in, understanding our customers. So we jump into the strategy, we learn all about the business, and then we come up with a plan, right? And then the next step is that we build up these digital assets. And what are digital assets? Websites are digital assets, web applications are digital assets, mobile apps are digital assets, and social profiles, we consider those with digital assets as well, which are really the assets, the things that people can own, their presence online, essentially, right? And then we drive traffic to those assets, right? So we do SEO and we do paid ad management, And so if you have a website or you have a social page or you have something and nobody's seeing it, right, then it's not really helping your business, right? And so we drive traffic to those assets with search and also with paid ads, right? And then the last part of it, this is kind of how the business work together, is that we optimize those assets over time. And what that means? It means that we measure the results, right? So Kalila, you know some about this, right? You are running all your marketing, right? You have to measure your results, right? So we know what to measure for our clients depending on what their objectives and what their outcomes are, right? And as we roll out the plan and as we execute on the plan, we measure and we take feedback from the measurement. So we look on the data and say what's working, what's not working, and we optimize that plan over time so that the client can get the maximum results.
And to the viewers, you heard Djuvane say that I know what he's talking about, because yes, KRM has been working with 1GS. Let me tell you, these guys know their stuff. They know exactly what they are doing, which brings me to a question that I got on Instagram. So now on TikTok, Kelsey said, given that this industry is highly competitive with low barriers to entry, what is your competitive advantage? I'm going to ask Gina to take that one.
I think that Djuvane alluded to that already, and that's that we get business. I think that's super important. When we approach a project, it's very interesting that somebody would come to us and say, I need a website. And essentially we have a process we go through with the client and we have a discovery call. So we will listen, we'll hear from them, and essentially we will say, well, I know you want a website, but this is what I think that you need. And we kind of walk people through, we listen to what the business needs, we try to understand the business, who they're reaching, who their target customers are, and we try to help them navigate that digital, through the digital space where they need to be as a business. And I think businesses need to be super important to pay attention to omni-channel, how they appear across all channels of the digital platform. They need to be consistency. They need to have be essentially focusing in the right areas to the right target audience. And I think that's something where we're able to help persons to recognize, okay, I thought I needed this, but I recognize that, okay, I have to pay attention to these other areas as well. And we've been able to build trust with our clients. I think that's super important to how the business has grown. Clients have been able to trust that we understand their business, we understand where they're trying to go as a business, and that we're very invested in seeing them achieve those results online.
So I know this is a difficult one to measure because data is so limited in Jamaica, but do you guys have an idea what your market share is?
No, I don't think we have an idea of that, to be honest.
I know that's a tough one. It's hard to, trust me, it's hard.
But we have a big client list, and I don't know people have been asking about our clients. So Barita is one of our clients, right? Jamaica Brothers Group, Best Rest Chicken, Hypro, Canopy, Guardsman Group, National Supply. We have Tasty Cheese. We have Active Traders, Juicy Patties, R.A. Williams, Ministry of Health and Wellness, National Health Fund, PIG, OJ, and we have lots more as well. And through our acquisition, which we will talk about more, I'm sure, right? We have clients like Guru.com, which Guru.com is a huge company. Avivo, which I think is publicly listed in Canada. And Amazon is a client. Amazon Germany is a client of High Voltage SEO, which is a company that One Great Studio now owns.
And Kalila, just to add to what Djuvane said, as you know, Barita is a client of 1GS. We're a proud client. So, of course, this is a full circle moment for us to bring our vendor public. So being a client, one thing that gravitated or made us gravitate towards 1GS, and I think one of their competitive advantages is that they're a full service digital first agency. So what does that mean? So a company like Barita, they would typically want to go to one entity where they can get everything that they need. So from strategy, social media management, content production, SEO, and building or web applications as well. So the BOSS platform, full circle. The boss platform that persons are applying on, one just built it for us. So
Wow.
I think that is one of their main competitive advantages. They offer so many services. So in other words, instead of using full service, persons may refer to it as a one-stop shop, but it really is a full service digital first agency.
Wow. Yeah. And I think that most people would recognize the quality of the marketing for Barita. It's something that people have commented on over the past couple of years. I'm like, who's doing their marketing? Why is Barita all of a sudden everywhere? Now you meet the company behind it, and here you are getting ready to list. So let's talk about this acquisition that this company that you acquired last year. It's an SEO company. Explain what SEO is, how this acquisition came about, and what the impact has been.
So SEO is search engine optimization. And what that means is basically doing things that would help you to rank better on search engines, right? So a search engine is like Google, for example, right? But search is bigger than that because you also have social search right now as well. So you can do things that help you rank better in YouTube when people search. You can do things that help you rank better in TikTok when people search, for example. So search engine optimization is doing the right things to help businesses or persons rank better when people search on any search engine, essentially.
Which brought you to have an interest in this company named High Voltage SEO, which is an
Correct.
SEO company based in the United States.
Yes.
What led you to decide that you wanted to increase this part of the business, that SEO was going to be
Yeah,
a
so
big role in your future?
I think for us, it was the recognition that SEO is a big part of digital, but we're weak in that in the Caribbean, right? In the region. Like not a lot of people are investing in their SEO. Not a lot of people are paying attention to their SEO. So when we were looking for a target, we wanted a target with complementary services, a target that had capabilities that we never had, or we didn't have the depth in. And then also a target that had access to markets that we didn't have. And then we wanted to do the reciprocal as well. We wanted to have them to have access to market that they never had, and then also them to get expertise that they never had, because we have a big design team, we have a big development team, and so that's now when you put those together, then you really have a powerhouse of an agency, essential.
So how did this link come about? How did you find out about High Voltage? How did that whole thing happen?
I mean, so there's a whole process of doing M&As, and so we started that journey in 2021. Mark Gale worked with us as a consultant. Mark and I are very good friends. Gina knows Mark longer than me, actually. And we started our board. We've been working with our board for 3-4 years now, that we put our board together and really started to say, we're going to take this business serious, we're going to grow this business, because we really believe in the potential that Jamaica has to export services. Like, I know for a long time, you see Jamaica and we have tourism, and we bring people into the island, we earn US dollars that way. We think as a service business, the service industry in general can actually grow and export our services and bring hard currency back to Jamaica. And so that's a big part of what we wanted to do with this transaction. So we started in 2021, just kind of going through, and our board said, Djuvane, you want to do this, because for years we were growing inorganically, right? I mean, organically. So we were just growing organically, no capital, just, hand to the plow, work, do good work, clients give us more work, and people recommend us word of mouth. And we grew from 21 million in 2018 to over 128 million in 2021, right? So as we're approaching the end of 2021, we said, we want to start looking for some inorganic opportunity. We had a board retreat where Mark and I, we prepped for a long time before that, looking at different options. We had options to do, acquire a SaaS target, acquire this, acquire that. And at the end of the day, what we really settled with, it's not even settled, it's the thing that was actually perfect for us, is acquiring an agency. Why? Because I've been serving clients, building websites since the year 2000, right? And so we have lots of experience serving clients as an agency, right? And so instead of going out there and tackling some other industry or some other type of business that we don't know, we decided to pursue an inorganic opportunity in the business that we've been doing for years, and that's in the agency business. And so that's the reason why we decided to go with high voltage SEO, and that's how this came about.
So you went after this US-based company, and it was no small company either. It's a company
No,
that
it
is
was bigger
pretty
than us.
comparable. It's bigger than
It
you.
was bigger than us at the time, and it was rapidly growing as well. So that also made the transaction very interesting because they were growing during the time as well. So they were larger than us, and they were growing, and so that's really a part of what makes it special. Barita believed in us. You see, that's the part of the thing. You see, when you work with a company and they know what you're capable of, and they see how you serve them over the years, they really had confidence in us to look on us to say, here's the financing to go and get a company that's bigger than you guys, because we've seen what you've done. We believe in you. And so we really have to just, big up Barita for their confidence in us, and also for the work that they've done with us to help us get to this point.
Right. So in order to acquire this company late last year, you took a loan from Barita for $270 million, and a large chunk of the proceeds of this IPO will be used to repay that loan. So Gabrielle, tell me about that relationship.
Sure, no problem. So I know persons have been asking, so this is the perfect opportunity that we're grateful for to actually share a bit about this transaction. So as Djuvane said, of course, we are familiar with his work, and when they approached us about this, we got the opportunity to take a deep dive into their business. And when they approached us with it, we of course helped them to do the due diligence for the transaction. And in doing so, we felt confident that they would be able to actually carry the strategy out. And of course, so far, it has proven to be true. Um, as you said before, a large chunk of the proceeds will be used towards paying down this IPO. Now, what I want to clear up is that using IPO proceeds to pay down debt is not necessarily a bad thing. You have to look at it a bit closer, right? So, what OneGreat did was they saw this opportunity, right? $270 million opportunity. And at the time, they were making revenues of around 128. So let's say they came to market and they said, okay, we are OneGreat and we're making this amount of revenue, but we want to acquire a company in the US, and we think it will be accretive in nature. But you don't know, what would investors say at that point in time? Investors would probably give it another look, or a side eye, or anything, or something like that. But what OneGreat did, they took a bold move in a high interest rate environment. They were courageous enough and confident in themselves that they could execute. So what they did, they took the debt, they actually executed it, and they worked with HVSEO to integrate the SEO business line into OneGreat. And what does that do for investors? What that does for investors is actually prove to them upfront that they are capable of doing it, and they have done it, and they have done it successfully. And it's not just 3 months; we're actually showing you 6 months of results, and they have been on an upward trajectory. Also, they made this acquisition in September, so it's almost their 1 year anniversary for the acquisition. So what that tells investors is that OneGreat would have already worked out a lot of the kinks that comes with an M&A. So what investors are getting is actually something that has been completed, and all they're doing now is to pay off the high interest debt. And that, in paying off or in reducing that high interest debt, it will significantly add to their bottom line. Probably the servicing for that debt is around 35 million. So we can do the math and add it to their bottom line, and you see just how much value it adds to shareholders.
Absolutely. Looking through the prospectus and seeing the numbers, we see where that acquisition is already delivering big. It seems like you guys are getting a pretty nice return on investment. And Philip says, leave out the necessarily. Using IPO money to pay down debt is not a bad thing. Talk about some of the other uses of the proceeds. So like we said, this is the major ones of paying down the debt for that big acquisition that's already reaping rewards, but you have some other things as well. Gina, what else are the proceeds going to be used for?
So as laid out in the prospectus, a major part of our growth strategy will include the strengthening of OneGS's revenue streams by further integrating the various business lines. We will be strategically expanding our service lines as well and increasing service exports, which has a possibility of pursuing other acquisitions in the future. So we can't really delve too much into the details of some of those things, but I think that gives you a pretty good idea of the stuff that we're trying to do.
Well, what's your vision for the company, Djuvane? Where do you want to see One Great Studio, and where do you see the biggest opportunities?
I mean, I think we see great opportunity locally, Kalila, as well. So the truth is, all right, so let's take it this way. The first step is we're going to get great growth from just incorporating HV for the full year, right? What you saw from us last year is really OneGS plus HV for 3.5 months. So the first step is just adding HV for the full year. And if you look on our results from Q4 and Q1, right? In Q4, we did $103.7 million in revenue. In Q1, we did $114.9 million in revenue. Add those together, you get $218 plus $0.6 million over the 6 months. That's from October to March, essentially, right? $218.6 million. So if you annualize that, for example, and you stretch it out 12 months, you see what our revenues will look like. And that's essentially, what the projections speak towards as well, right? So the reality is that we see this opportunity to expand the business through just incorporating HV, right? That's the first step. And the second step is cross-selling, right? So they have clients that need what we do, and we have clients that need that they do, right? And so cross-selling between existing clients is something that we think we're going to get a bump from as well, right? And then at the next step forward, right? And then we start selling search engine optimization to new clients in the Caribbean, and they start selling our services to new clients in all regions, right? So that's just growth that's just packaged into this deal, essentially. That's growth that's packaged into the company that we're offering right now to the public to participate in. That's the existing growth that is there, right? And then there's the expansion of the business lines into the different geographic areas. And then also using some of that capital to invest in our team and to build up our capacity. We're building up dedicated sales capacity, dedicated business development capacity. Kalina, up until recently, I was the salesperson doing all the selling in One Great Studio, running the company, doing all these other things as well, and trying to get all the proposals done. So that's something that's going to be big for us now when we have a sales team that are proactively going out there and seeking new clients versus what we were doing before, which is just taking the clients as they come to us, essentially.
Yes, so you're going to go out and get that money. I love it. So which brings me to the next question I actually was going to take, which is from Sean online. We have a lot of questions from the viewers, by the way, so we have to start getting to them. Sean said, the OneGS development team looks really small, in my opinion. Are there any intentions to expand the team to accommodate new business? Yes, you just were speaking to that. And if so, here's the question. How big of a team would you like to get to?
Yeah, I think for us, we're going to also explore that different team models as well, Kalilo. And so I don't know what size our team is going to be in the future. We're going to always try to operate efficiently at the same time. And I mean, we use tech and we use our processes to help us to be efficient with our team size as well. But one thing to point out about our cost structure, and a lot of people may not understand this or be used to this, because essentially a bulk of our team costs is actually in our direct costs, right? For a lot of businesses, when you think about their staff, you think about that in their operational expenses, but because our biggest assets are people, and that's what, that's the people is our cost as well as the time, is the labor that goes into the projects. So a big chunk of our direct costs actually is our team costs, right? And so over time, we expect that to grow as the business grows. And you can see that as well. I think we disclosed some of the team sizes in the prospectus, and our team has grown significantly, kind of keep track with the revenue. But a part of operating efficiently is to try to get more revenue without growing the team at that same pace. And I think that's something that we've been able to do and that we'll continue to be able to do as well.
I think you said you guys have about 50 something team members now.
Yeah, we have 55 team members right now.
But because you work mostly remotely, it may not feel like it all the time.
No, and that's something that, I mean, we have to do things to bring the team together from time to time. And that's something that right now we're just kind of getting in the same digital space with the HV team right now. And that feels really good to have our full team in one place, you know. And I'm really excited about what that means, because everybody is talented and experienced and an expert in their field. And learning from each other is something that we're really looking forward to do. Them learning from us and we learning from them, essentially.
So next question from the audience comes from Davian, who says, so does One Great Studio use artificial intelligence as part of the technology now, or will it be used in the near future? I don't know who can take that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take that one as well. The truth is, AI is something that we have been leveraging, right? But it's also something that we have to leverage cautiously. It's still in the early days. And so because of that, you know, there are lots of legal things that will happen. And what we have right now, it may not be the exact format that is going to exist in 2 years when regulation catch up to it. So it is something that we've been leveraging to help us to be more efficient. But it's not something, but we have to be careful. You can't imagine so think about a business like ours during the crypto and blockchain explosion, right? If when it just started, we jump on it and we drop everything else that we're doing and we jump in that direction, where would we be today? You know, when it comes to these advances in technology, it's one of the things that we have experience navigating. So as I said to you before, I started building websites in the year 2000. We're now in 2023, 23 years of building websites. How we built websites in 2000 is very different from how we build websites right now, right? And that's the beautiful thing about a company like One Great Studio, is because we're in the business of selling outcomes, right? And so we use design, we use strategy, and we use tech to deliver these outcomes. So as the technology changes, what we will do is that we will incorporate technology as best as we can. And we're going to stay on top of it. Learning is super important. We have a whole page in the prospectus dedicated to learning, because in our industry, we have to stay learning. And we employ people. It's one of the big things that we look for when we hire people, Kalila, is actually people who love to learn. And sometimes somebody might not have all the skill sets, but just have this drive and this passion to learn. And we said that's somebody who should work at OneJS.
Okay. I see quite a few people in the comments asking about profitability. We spoke about your revenues and the impact of the acquisition of high voltage SEO, but Strong Link says, I don't like to talk about revenue alone. Let's hear about profitability. So how profitable is this?
Gabby, let me take that one for Strong Link. So Strong Link, if you're in the prospectus, you need to start by looking, read the whole thing, right? But when you finish looking on 2022, we've broken out Q1 and Q4 for a reason, because the business is very different in those two quarters, right? So in Q1 2022, our PBT was 28.52 million, right? 28.52 million. Follow me now. We're raising money in this IPO to pay down debt. The finance cost in Q1 alone, Gabby spoke about the high interest rate debt. The finance cost alone in Q1 was $9 million. When we significantly bring that debt down, what happens to that PBT? That's why Gabby is talking to the immediate impact of this transaction. The investment in this IPO, results will come basically immediately, because we're paying on that debt, which is such a big part of our expenses. And when that debt goes away, that profitability goes immediately to the bottom line. And at the end of the day, back into the pockets of the shareholders, which everybody has a chance to participate in that right now.
And I just want to add here, I just want to take it a step further, Kalila. Let's not just talk about profitability. Let's talk about cash flow generation. So with different types of companies, you'll see profitability, but profitability doesn't actually speak to cash to be able to run the business. If you look at OneJS's cash flow from operations, even before the acquisition, they've always been in a positive. With the acquisition, just for Q1 alone, their PBT, as Djuvane said, was 28.5. but their cash flow from operations was around 49 million. So what that speaks to, or what it attests to, the business model of One Great, and it actually being a viable one and being able to actually generate cash to run the business. So it's not artificial profit. It is real profit, real cash flow.
Okay, Gabby, can I just add something to, because we hear questions as well, Kalila, about, if you use all that money to pay down debt, where future growth will come from? And I come back to exactly what Gabby was talking about a while ago, which is the cash that OneJS has. At the end of March, in March 31st, 2022, our cash and cash equivalent balance was 130.97 million J dollars. And consider that we're going to have extra money left over after we pay down the debt. That's adequate capital for a business like us to pursue future growth opportunities.
And that cash balance didn't happen by chance. That cash balance didn't just appear suddenly in the bank account. That came from prudent financial management.
So does that mean that you would be in a fairly good position to pay dividends? Lots of people in the comments asking. Kuruma says the $1 million question is this a dividend paying stock?
Guys, Gina and I will own about 50% of One Great Studio at the end of this, should we have a successful listing. And we like dividends. We've been receiving dividends for the last 2 years, and we don't intend to stop receiving dividends. So as long as it makes sense for the business, we intend to pursue that dividend policy we have right now, up to 30% dividend policy. And that's something that we think we would love to continue.
Andrew wants to know, Andrew says, I'm wondering why you're going public instead of going at it privately, particularly for a digital marketing company. And then to the second part of the question, I think you started responding to that already about your growth strategy. But why do a public transaction instead of something private?
For me, I think a public transaction, let's start with the Junior Stock Exchange. The Junior Stock Exchange has done incredible things for the Jamaican economy, right? It gives access to small businesses, to the type of capital that you wouldn't have access to otherwise, right? It allows you to create certain opportunities. Like, I don't think that financing is there for OneJS if there is not a Junior Stock Exchange, right? So the reality is we're going public because going public facilitated the growth of One Great Studio. And at the end of the day, we have ambitions to grow this company even further. And I laid out some of the growth strategy earlier, so I don't think I'll repeat that again, Khalil.
Right. So the next question comes from Sean. Sean's on fire with these questions today. He wants to know, how stable are the contracts that you have now, and how many long-term contracts do you have? You did list some of your clients previously that you've done previous work for, but how many contracts do you have now, and how stable are they?
Yeah, so about 60% of our revenue comes from retainer clients, right? And we have clients at OneJS, we've kept clients for a very long time. We didn't disclose our average lifespan, but that's maybe something that you'll see from us in the future, because it is an important metric for a company like us. And so the truth is that, like, we keep clients for a long time. But different clients are on different contracts. Some people are on ongoing contracts, some people are on 6-month contracts, some people are on 12-month contracts with auto renewals. So, and then we have some clients that are project-based as well. So what we found over time is that we've had a good mixture of clients in terms of the type of contracts that they have.
Okay, next question. Oh, where did I put the question? Okay, let me find the next question. Okay, Philip wanted to know, how do you market yourselves locally and overseas? So how do you get new clients? You guys hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I'll see if Gina wanted to take that one. I think, as we said in prospectus, for many years, it was basically word of mouth for One Great Studio. Like in this industry, when you do good work for people, they tend to tell their friends about you. And that's something that has done wonders for us. It's something that we think will continue to work for us as well. But again, right now, we are a digital marketing company. So as you've seen during this IPO, you've seen, our faces, you've seen our people, you've heard us telling our story. That's what we do for a living. And so we have the ability to market ourselves and to sell ourselves through other channels other than that as well. So we have different strategies that we're rolling out. You will start to see them more and more, and you'll see them as we go forward.
I think even the fact of you doing this IPO raises your profile substantially because you've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes, but not many
Yeah.
people knew who you were,
And,
at
and
least
you
in
know,
the
a lot of
public domain.
yeah, and the funny thing about that is that a lot of people say, I've never heard about this company or where this company come from, and the truth is that you've seen our work, right? But that quietness, Kalila, is really a reflection of our seriousness and the diligence that we work in our businesses. At One Great Studio, we like to say we're about the work, not about the talk. And so for years, we've had our head down, just building the business, growing up. And right now, we're kind of saying, well, here we are. You get to be a part of what we're doing right.
All right, so let's take some of the more technical questions about applying for the IPO. Let me see. So this would be for Gabby.
Sure.
Marvin to know, when I invest through the Boss platform, will the stock show on my portfolio of a different broker?
Okay. All right. So the Boss platform, the Barita Boss platform, it is definitely inclusive. So no matter which brokerage account you have, let's say you have a brokerage account at a different institution, all you need is your JCSD account number and you can apply through the Barita Boss platform. So what is important, or what the connection here is the JCSD. So no matter which brokerage house you come from, the JCSD is the central registrar. So once you have stocks in a specific JCSD account, it should show up at whichever brokerage institution that you're using.
Okay, so
answer is
that answers some of the other questions that some other people had about. So you don't need a Barita account necessarily. Does that mean that any investment account will work if you apply through Boss?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question, Kalila.
Right. So can you use any investment account, not just Barita?
Correct. I mean, we would love for you to sign up to be a Barita client on the Barita Boss platform. You can sign up to be a Barita client, but yes, you can use you can be from any institution and sign up for the IPO on the Barita Boss platform.
But you can't use other platforms. It has to be the Boss platform.
Correct.
Which one GS developed?
Which One Great developed. So you get to test out some of One Great's products.
All right. So you're not using the selling agent that we normally hear about, the selling agent method. It's just whichever JCSD account you have, go to Barita Boss, put in your information and apply.
Well, for now, yes. If anything changes, we'll definitely make an announcement. So you can tune into the One Great Instagram account and Barita's Instagram account. Of course, we'll make the announcement there if and when it happens.
The share price is $1 a share. Minimum buy is 10,000 shares. Confirming.
Yeah. Correct. Yes.
And let me see. I have another question here. This one is from Degore, who wants to know, will Barita convert any of the debt owed to them into shares?
So the debt is not convertible to equity. If you see, well, in the prospectus, it does speak to conversion, but it says it's convertible to a bond, which is another form of debt. But what I can say is that Barita already has an equity stake in One Great. Right now, prior to the listing, we have a 9.81% stake in One Great. And after the listing, if the listing is successful, we'll have a 7.85% stake in One Great. And that's listed in the share capital table in the prospectus.
Awesome. So I think we've covered most of the questions. I tried to put the questions from the viewers in question groups. So I think we've got through most, if not all, of the major ones. So I'm going to give you guys the last word. Djuvane, Gina, and Gabrielle, anything you want to say before we wrap?
Okay, I'll go first. I want Djuvane and Gina to end with a bang, of course. As not only lead broker and arranger, but also as a client of One Great, I think this is a very good company. The leaders are solid. They have a solid character. The board of directors solid again. You have Mr. John Bailey, you have Miss Jacqueline Sharp, who was a former CEO of Scotia. And I think what One Great brings to the market is, Kalila, you alluded to it in the first couple seconds of the interview, is that there aren't any other digital marketing agencies on the stock exchange right now. And One Great is also, they bring a lot of other things, including over 50% of their revenue is generated outside of Jamaica, in US dollars. Plus, they have a low client concentration. So that also diversifies a lot of risk for One Great. Plus, what I always say to persons, when you're looking at an investment or you're looking to make an investment in a company, you always have to look at the industry in which they operate. So is it a growing industry or is it a declining industry? And digital marketing, one thing everybody can agree on is that digital the digital era is here to stay. A lot of us make our buying decisions based on what we see on the internet, on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube. That influences us a lot these days. And what One Great does is help businesses get in front of their clients. So I would definitely say that they're at the forefront of a growing industry. And I think those are just a few things that One Great brings. So Djuvane and Gina, you have the floor.
Okay. And I see our viewers are telling us that this IPO is available on Moneyline as well. So there's another platform for you. All right, Djuvane.
I think I would just encourage persons viewing who, just take the time to get to know us a little bit more. Check out onegreatipo.com. We spent a lot of time, thinking about what how we want to put, or what we do out there, and to give prospective investors a better idea of who we are and what we're about. So I really encourage everybody to check out onegreatipo.com. We have some videos that I think will be really helpful for you to get to know us better. Yeah, and just that we're really excited for this opportunity to list on the Junior Stock Exchange. But more than anything, we're trying to build a company that will make a difference in Jamaica, and we're really excited for the opportunity to share who we are, what we're about with the public, and we hope that you will really take the time to get to know us and see that we're serious about business and we're serious about driving shareholder value.
Djuvane?
Yeah, I think I'll just pick up from where Gina left off and just about who we are as a company. When we came up with our name, One Great Studio, immediately after, we decided on these values, and they're don't be greedy. You can see right here. This is the second one. Think long term, and then do good, right? And for us, our values are big to us. We're a company that really, really, focuses on culture, and we want to have a place where people want to work. And then also, a lot of places have, values in theory, but not values in application. We really strive to live out our values in how we operate, right? And so that's one side. The second side, is that I believe in the future of One Juice, right? As that is pointed to the industry is a growing industry. People live, work, play online. Do you think people are going to be online spend more time on their phone next year than they did this year? Like, I look at my kids, they have no clue what it's like to be without a device. They've always been on these devices. And so looking forward, we can, we believe that time on devices, all those things will contribute to the industry growing, right? And that's one part about the industry. The next part is that the company have diverse revenues, as Gabby said. We have a history of growth. Our cash flows are strong, and the truth is that we're not settling, right? We are passionate about growing this business. We are fully invested in growing this business, and we want to see this grow, and it's in all our interests. So our interests are 100% aligned with the future shareholders, and so we're looking forward to welcoming new shareholders and to create value for everybody coming out to this offer.
Awesome. Well, congratulations to you. We're looking forward to August 28th, which is the open day. I see a few people asking when is the open. It's August 28th. So you guys have a couple of weeks to get your money ready. to participate in this IPO. I won't even bother telling you the close date because junior market listings don't even bother looking at the close date. Get your money, get your application in early before the open date. So within the next 2 weeks. Thank you so much, Djuvane, Gina, Gabriel. All the best to you.
Thanks,
Thank
Kalila.
you
Thanks
so
for
much.
having us.
Thank you, guys.
And now it's time for our poll question for this evening, which is an obvious one. Will you be investing in One Great Studios IPO? Here are your options, and you can take this poll here on our YouTube channel or on Twitter, X. So yes, I'm so excited. B, I'm hesitant because the stock market has been crazy. C, no, it's not right for me. D, I haven't decided yet. Or other, leave a comment. Let us know. Will you be investing in One Great Studios IPO? That is your poll question for this evening. Now it's time for a hurricane tip from our sponsor, CG United.
Hurricane tips are brought to you by CG United. It's good like that.
And ensures the well-being of your employees, the stability of your business, and last but certainly not least, ensures that you can keep your business running. Once you have your plan, be sure to inform your employees, have practice drills, and stock up on all your necessary supplies. Because if you didn't tell them, then what's the point of having the plan, right? And that was your hurricane tip brought to you by CG United.
Hurricane tips were brought to you by CG United. It's good like that.
All right, guys. So just letting you know that if you haven't done so yet, just hit the like button, hit the subscribe button on this channel, share this video with a friend, let people know what we're doing here at Taking Stock. I saw a couple of really cool comments about it as well. So Michael said, I like this channel. I'm from the USA and I like to invest in GMMB. Okay. And Finir says, I have time to watch Kalila's channel. Very good info. Thank you so much. Hit that like button and make sure you subscribe. Up next, we have your market recap, and the analysts are standing by.
This segment of Taking Stock was brought to you by Bulwark Insurance Agency, Insurance Made Easy.
Hey, moneymakers, join the KRM fam with our official merch. Get it now at KalilaReynolds.com. Let's get this money.
The JC Combined Index lost almost 5,000 points last week, or 1%. 122 stocks traded across the main and junior markets for the week, ending Friday, August 11, 2023. 38 made gains, 69 lost value, and 15 stayed the same. 102 million shares changed hands on the Jamaican dollar market, valued at $601 million. Mailpack Group was the week's most traded stock. It took up 16% of market volume, with 16 million shares trading. The stock's price remained unchanged to open Monday at $1.87. Wigton traded the second highest. The stock lost 3 cents to open this week at 76 cents. And Trans-Jamaican rounded out last week's most traded with 10 million shares changing hands. The stock gained 1 cent to open Monday at $2.52. Now let's see who had the biggest gains for the week. Cygnus Credit Investments USD was the market's biggest gain, up 21%. The stock opened Monday at 11 cents US. Key Insurance Company gained 15% to start the new week at $2.89. And Lasco Manufacturing was up almost 14% to open the week at $5.28. On the losing side now, Stationery and Office Supplies was the week's biggest loser. The stock lost 39 cents to open Monday at $1.85. ISP Finance Services was the week's second biggest loser, opening the new week at $21.23. And Epley 7.75% preference shares was down almost 15%, closing last week at $17.02. Over on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, the composite index lost 10 points or 1% last week. Massey was the most traded stock. The stock's price lost 4 cents to open this week at $4.80 TT. Trinidad Cement was the market's biggest gainer, up almost 11% to open this week at $3.32 TT. And on the losing side, National Enterprises fell nearly 9% to open Monday at $3.75 TT. Over in the US, the Dow Jones was up nearly 0.5% last week, while the S&P 500 dipped 1% and the Nasdaq fell 2%. Motorists saw a slight dip in gas prices last week, which lost 25 cents, while diesel prices on the other hand were up another $4.50. In foreign exchange, it took an average $155.50 Jamaican to purchase $1 last Friday. That's 2 cents less than a week before. Meanwhile, it took an average $115.84 Jamaican to purchase $1 Canadian. 1 British pound cost on average $199.92 Jamaican. And you could buy €1 for $172.48 Jamaican on average. Finally, on the crypto markets, Bitcoin was down almost 1% over the past 5 days, trading at $29,323 US on Monday. Ethereum was down 0.5%, trading at $1,843 US on Monday. This segment of Taking Stock, The Analyst, is brought to you by Profit Jumpstarter. Disclaimer. This is not intended as financial advice. Please consult a licensed financial advisor before making investment decisions.
Welcome back. Welcome back. It's time now for the analyst. But before I introduce our panel, let me give you some of the responses to tonight's poll question. Our question was, will you be investing in One Great Studios IPO? Your options are, yes, I'm so excited. That's A. B, I'm hesitant. The stock market has been crazy. C, no, it's not right for me. D, I haven't decided yet. And E, other, leave a comment. Well, let me tell you, I'm seeing a lot of A's out here. So people are saying, yes, I'm so excited. Leon, Kuruma. Sean says, don't wait, apply now. Yvonne says, I need a few shares. Antonica says, yes, we have some more A's out here. It's all A's so far I'm seeing. All A's. Well, one person, no, because won't get much of the allocation. Everybody else in the comments is saying yes. So yeah, good for you guys. All right. Let's introduce our analyst panel tonight. We have with us David Rose. Where's David? Is he there? All right. Yes, we have David Rose, business writer at the Jamaica Observer, and we have CEO of Profit Jumpstarter, Keisha Bailey. Welcome back. Hi. Keisha, welcome back.
Good night, Kalila.
Keisha, you look good even though I know you're busy. You're so tired right now, ready for your bed. Yes. Big conference coming up. We're going to talk about it in a few, but first let's get to David. You've been poring over the 1GS prospectus. Give me your thoughts. And you've heard the full interview just now too. What do you think of this one? The first for the year.
I didn't hear the full interview. Blame Flo for that, but no, it's good to, see that a company that has gone through, the 10 years of growth, I said, take that major step forward to come to the JSE. These young startup businesses are seeing, the value of using the equity markets to, facilitate their runway towards higher growth. It's a interesting offer. Still haven't, gone through everything because I've gone through the MD&A and other single set of prospectus, but in terms of the audited financials and the first quarter financials, I haven't gone through in depth as yet. That's my specialty. But it's an interesting concept that is a well-kept secret, because before One Great Studio came out in the papers a couple of months ago, I didn't even know about them. But that's a bit of being a specialized niche business. You work and just keep building yourself. So it's interesting to see what their plans will be, when they get listed, considering this is an all or none offer, and just to see how the feedback will be from investors over these next almost 3 weeks, to the offer actually opening, because it came out on Friday, August 11, is opening until August 28, so like 17 days.
I'm glad they're actually giving us time to digest the prospectus and to get some reviews in, because many times these hours drop and it's like tomorrow it opens or in a couple of days it
But
opens.
in
You
a
don't
week,
have any
in a
time.
week.
You don't have any time to review anything. You don't even have time for brokers to send out their recommendations before it opens.
Well, the thing is that, well, because FSC doesn't respond much to anything at all. I remember that we were discussing the issue of guideline changes last time,
Mhm.
and remember that the 3-day minimum was one of the considerations as well. So, we're not sure if that was a potential impact in terms of this wider time window, but it's a good thing. Persons get to appreciate what the business does and understand the business, because Jamaica is still getting attracted or used to these non-traditional businesses, because for us what we see as traditional businesses are tangible businesses selling a general good and necessarily a service like we're seeing with One Great Studio right now. We didn't know that, for example, they did Barita and Canopy's social media pages, have Beryllium and Jamaica Brothers as clients, and they have done pretty well, which is a great business, and keeping the margin stable while being a digitally led first business. And considering the expansion in terms of the rest of the world, they have some runway that is pretty strong, considering that they don't need to have a physical space and can just grow in perpetuity as clients and demand come in.
Yeah, I'm glad you're mentioning that, this is a diversification for the stock exchange. So we're seeing different types of companies, non-traditional companies. You also mentioned something that I forgot to ask them about. So thanks for bringing it up. This is an all or nothing offer, meaning if 1GS doesn't raise the full 333 million, they are not going to list. So it's either they raise everything they set out to raise, or they're just not going to bother with the whole IPO process. How risky is that, David, for something this size?
Well, it was up to based on what I read from the prospectus, it was in the recommendation of the directors, for all or none. It seems that the directors are pretty confident that the company will exceed this target. But in all honesty, it's not necessarily impossible that they will meet that target. We're talking about a market that is still IPO hungry. For some persons, when they see the words IPO, they just throw any money at it. Because I talked to somebody as a rookie term, and they said, one prior IPO last year, a person applied more than 100 plus times just because they thought they get a bit allocation. So I wouldn't be surprised, considering especially the longer timeline for the opening as well, for them to actually exceed that particular marker they've set of $338 million. It's a pretty bold stance. I wish them all the best, and just let's look forward to see the future offers coming in short order, because the last IPO would have been Image Plus, which would have closed in December, listed in January. Then we had, the unfortunate events of SSL in January, and we've just had, so many different things coming out every second. So hopefully other companies, decide to say, hey, we are going to go forward and grow. Let's grow even in spite of the current interest rates levels and just step forward.
I think a lot of people will be watching the performance of this
It's a
IPO
litmus
very,
test.
very.
It's a litmus test, Kalila.
It absolutely is. There's so many companies that have their processes in train, ready to list, but they've just been holding, just waiting to see what the market look like. And 1GS is that brave soldier.
And I remember that you also have the
be
138 APO later this year. We were supposed to have the A spread and cross listing, and there's just so many offers that were spoken about last year that should have come to market already, but they haven't come through as yet. Jam T says they're planning to list their Caribbean Dream Foods after the October 1, when new business starts up officially. And there were just a range of other offers I can't remember to put my head that were supposed to come public this year, but different events have occurred. We're in August, 8th month of the year. Let's see how many IPOs do come forward, albeit any further interest increases, by the BOJ in respect, of inflation levels and other events in the background.
So some interesting comments here from our viewers. Philip says, "That risky. Barita will buy it. Small offer."
But
Sean says, "One interested investor from TJH can cover that IPO." And he adds that these tech companies are so underrated and undervalued in Jamaica. And then Strong Link adding that the company is strong and flushed with cash. So in perspective, 338 million JMD is only about 2 million USD. It's not massive.
It's a Hambani.
Yeah.
So the chances of them not making it, I think, are slim. I do think they'll make it. I don't think it's a huge risk for them.
A lot of cash is parked up in the Kalila.
What's that?
A lot of cash is parked up waiting for an IPO, you know. So the persons are just raring to just throw something at an IPO.
Excitement is there. Yeah.
So I think we will know how much excitement is there when we see how much oversubscribed it actually is.
Right.
So it's not to me, it's not a matter of it being oversubscribed, it's by how much. So how much interest is actually out there for an IPO right now? That will be the number for me to look at. Learn, Grow, Invest says, Jam T says summer. Summer almost done.
No, they've been saying summer since 2020, Khalil. That's why. So it's a recurring joke about Jam T saying, oh, we're going to see summer. And summer comes, summer goes, and we go to a new year.
All right. Let's move on. So Keisha, you've been looking at some international news as you usually do. You're our foreign link. So ratings agency Moody downgraded 10 U.S. banks and put the ratings of 6 others on review. What does this mean for markets?
So recall earlier this year we had, Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank going under. Moody's, a credit rating agency in the US, they regularly review different companies, and they're saying, no, well, we think several of these smaller US banks are at risk. And so they've downgraded the credit ratings for these banks, basically saying, watch out because their capital adequacy may be an issue. And the fact that, interest rates keep going higher, in a tighter financial conditions, that could create problems for the bank. So essentially what happened because of that, prices have started falling in the US a bit since last week when Moody's came out. So that's it in a nutshell. Prices are kind of turning over in the US because the news from Moody's.
So does it seem likely that Moody's is likely to eventually downgrade those institutions?
Well, they've downgraded 10 of them already.
Right. So there's another 6 that, they put their ratings on review. So are those likely to be downgraded as well?
Likely they may come. Also the bigger banks, your JP Morgan, your Wells Fargo, the bigger banks, they're what everyone's worried about because those banks, now if we see credit rating downgrades for those banks, that's really when we're going to see a bigger hit to stock prices. And we've already started seeing that reaction where the share prices for these larger banks have started falling as well.
And
for context as well. Hold on, David. Is this a repercussion from the downgrade of the U.S. credit rating? Like America as a country, their credit rating was downgraded, were downgraded by Fitch recently. So does this have anything to do with that?
Connected, but not a direct result of it, but connected because these banks are very large portions of the U.S. economy. And so coming from that rating downgrade for the U.S., it is connected to the small, because what got downgraded by Moody's are the small banks and the medium-sized banks, with rating watches from other banks coming and possibly now the big banks. So it's connected, but it just means that watch out on the US because there are signs of stress that we're seeing.
Go ahead, David. You wanted to add something?
No, I was referring to the same Moody's, Moody's Fitch downgraded the US debt from AAA down to AA. And you're just seeing further stress indicators in the system.
Right.
And the reality is, we saw where Pacific West, remember I mentioned a couple of months ago, Kalila? I think that was back in May, I mentioned them. Pacific West, has proposed a merger with another Californian bank. And, this came, just a couple months after your Silicon Valley Bank, your Republic Bank, your Credit Suisse, and they, were in talks of, trying to consider a sale, and the stock price crashed that day. The regional banking stocks fell considerably during that period, and we're seeing another casualty of this high interest rate environment. And the thing is, we're likely to see, potentially more banks just go under, which causes other repercussions in the long term. Because whereas, these larger banks like a JP Morgan will come in and say, hey, we're happy to just get one of these smaller players, the larger investor loan book and reach for us. But the thing is, some of these smaller banks cater specifically to certain niches. So like in Jamaica, we all say, oh, the banks don't rate we hurt a business or this or anything like that. So like Silicon Valley Bank, for example, they were catered towards the tech sector and those startups. Republic was geared towards the rich and illustrious, and you have these different regional and smaller banks that are geared towards meeting the needs of their community or in their region. And with this rating downgrade, there's going to be further impact for somebody to even raise debt or just other means of funding to assist their books. Because what happened after the events of Silicon Valley Bank and Republic Bank was that person said, wait, these guys heard might have issues in short order. Let me take my deposits from Bank A and carry it to a Bank B like a JP Morgan or Wells Fargo, which I deem too big to fail. And at least I know that way, if things go wrong at them, I'm safe. So that's created an additional piece of form of stress in the system, whereby deposits, which are your cheaper source of funding, are moving from your smaller banks to your larger banks, which is causing this further ripple cycle to this occur. So it's just a very precarious and dangerous situation going in the USA right now.
Not
David, no, from the regional side.
Signs of stress, but I wouldn't say, precarious, dangerous. Because the thing is, remember, the US, the government stepped in to say, we're going to guarantee all the deposits. So that was a big move coming from them. So it helps a bit, but there are still problems from a capital adequacy perspective. So stress, yes, but I wouldn't say no, danger or so, but signs of stress for sure that we want to be mindful of.
No, consider for sure, and we just have to sit back and watch carefully, because for in case of other financial stocks, like even last week, Upstart, buy no pay later firm, they saw the revenue create a 40% year over year, and I'm just kind of started to buy a put option that's been going from $5 to more than $16 US, which is from $500 US to basically $1,600 US dollars. But the reality is, financial companies are really feeling the brunt of the higher rate environment. Mm-hmm. And we just have to be very observant, because when the Silicon Valley Bank event did occur, we saw all these major US companies, these tech companies say, wait, we have a good chunk of money for Silicon Valley Bank. We're well above the FDIC threshold of $200,000. And this is just one of the other kind of consequences of, a bank failure that people don't seem to realize. Even though the deposits might be guaranteed, that gap that might occur from, you getting access back to your deposits from the bank can cause your own issues in your own business. It won't mean you collapse, but it can cause further stress. And it also creates other issues for you to go and seek new funding to take care of your own capital needs, because even locally here we're seeing where different companies in a range of sectors are feeling the impact of rising finance costs.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Well, definitely something to keep our eye on. Thanks for bringing it to our attention, Keisha. Now, Keisha, before you go, you got your big conference, Build Wealth with Real Estate, coming up on Saturday.
Yes,
give us some previews.
So we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the VIPs, a full-on weekend. That's what it's evolved into. It's gonna be, at this point, it's a sold-out event. We have a lot of persons flying in who are saying, I'm ready to talk about real estate investing. We are looking forward to us having an amazing event. The focus is going to be on implementation. I'm very big on, giving you knowledge, but also making sure that you're able to implement it. So that's going to be a big part of our focus, like making connections for persons, making sure that people feel motivated to make a move when it comes to real estate. So looking forward to it. Some persons are here that have bought tickets. Kalila is going to be one of our presenters as well. So looking forward to having an amazing event.
Yes, so I'm going to be speaking on economic implications for Jamaica's real estate market. So what are the economic indicators that you should be looking out for? We've discussed some of them here on Taking Stock before. What are the things in the news that can give you an indication of what's about to happen in the market? So that's going to be the basis of my presentation Saturday. Definitely looking forward to that one. Thank you so much, Keisha. Thank you, David.
One thing
We'll
before
take
I go,
a break. We gotta go, David. We gotta take a quick break and then we wrap the show. Thank you so much.
This segment of Taking Stock, The Analyst, was brought to you by Profit Jumpstarter.
What do you do when you're suddenly hit with a big unexpected expense? If you have children in prep school like me, I have two, you've gotten the note that school fees are going up by as much as 50%. So you're stressed out right now, huh? At this point, you may be considering some of these options. So you may be looking to reallocate funds, maybe cancel summer vacation, take out a loan or put it on a credit card, move your kids to public school, or you just gotta step up your hustle. But we can figure it out. That's the thing. Realistically, all we have to do is plan.
My name is Tamika Thomas-Shaw. My top things today were about budgeting and investing. While the session on budgeting started off making me feel as if, oh boy, I've not been doing myself much justice in this area, I opened my eyes as to what I can do, and especially the app that you shared with us. So I will definitely be putting the action.
Build your budget with me inside the Money Mission community. You'll get my BYB template, app recommendations, and live brainstorming sessions to help you plug those income gaps. Build Your Budget is available on demand or with a premium membership to the Money Mission community. Join now at moneymission.mn.co. The link is in the description.
In the sweltering heat of Jamaica, a humble appliance attempts to tame the relentless blaze. Enter the Lasco fan, valiantly striving to provide respite from the scorching temperatures. With blades spinning and air circulating, the Lasco fan becomes a symbol of hope in the face of oppressive heat.
We not about that life. We have AC money. We have JPS money. Join me and the money makers inside the Money Mission community.
And now would also be a good time for you guys to take the Investing for Beginners Masterclass. If you are brand new to this whole IPO thing, sign up for Investing for Beginners inside the Money Mission community. Additionally, we also have a webinar coming up on Monday where I'm going to be going through the prospectus in detail. So a lot of the questions that I saw in the comments, the answers are in the prospectus. And we're going to go through it. If you've never read a prospectus before, this is the event for you. So you get to understand what are the parts of the prospectus, what are the things that you should know, should you look out for, are there any red flags, what are the risk factors, and just how do you understand and analyze this big document, because many of them are many pages long. They're known to go a couple hundred pages. This one wasn't that long, generally speaking, but this one wasn't too bad. But yeah, we're going over that next week, Monday, August 21, inside the Money Mission community. And you can access this with a basic subscription to the community. So both basic and premium members are welcome. If you don't want to do the subscription, you can always just purchase access to this one-time event. It's the same price as the basic subscription. So might as well just do the basic, and then you get access to everything else that comes with the basic subscription. But if some people don't like the recurring thing and you just want to do the one-off, you have that option as well. Go to moneymission.mn.co, and I'll see you inside the community on Monday for that event. Let me take some of your last comments as well. Adrian says, back to your vacation. Yes, I actually have on my swimsuit underneath this outfit right here. Yes, back to my vacation. I sent the kids out for a while, so they're probably coming back any minute now. Ice Rush says, I love this channel. Thank you. Lanestra says, KRM on the way to 50K sub. You're right. We're almost there, just a couple hundred short. So make sure you subscribe, guys, if you haven't done it yet. Let's get to 50K. Bushu says, Kalila has a great channel. Thank you. I enjoy learning from her. Michael says 750,000 on 1GS or drop more in Trans Jamaican Highway, which is still undervalued. That is the real question. Demetrius says, great coverage. Thank you, Demetrius. Strong link commenting on the downgrades, saying the downgrades will make things much worse. Fitch also threatening further downgrades on the banks. We are in big trouble. And then we have Bushu saying, get that money. Love the tagline. Thank you guys so much for joining me yet another week. I shall see you again very, very soon. And until then, say it with me. Let's get money. Bye, guys.
Let's get this money.